And let's just believe in tomorrow. Let's believe fully within ourselves that these seeds we planted are going to grow, that there's no other option, that the only outcome is that these seeds are going to grow. Believe in tomorrow. To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. Now, we're going to look at ourselves and our lives and our dreams as metaphorically a garden. If you are planting these seeds in your garden, whether it just be an idea, a dream, something that you're aspiring for, or something that you're taking small steps to get to, that means that you believe in the possibility of it coming true and it coming into your reality and becoming your life. When you create a vision board for yourself, or when you are writing down your goals, that's the ideal self that you want to hold, right? So we have our current self and our ideal self. But at the surface level, yes, you think, okay, this is the best case outcome, the best case scenario that I can fulfill. But do you really believe at a subconscious level? Do you believe that you're going to achieve it? Because surface level is not really what manifests things to become your reality. It's the subconscious level. But this quote just basically states that if you even planted that seed for that dream, for that idea of what you want in your life, in your future, and as your identity, then that's enough proof that it's possible, that that can happen for you, that your future holds that. Because you planted that seed, you believed that tomorrow the seed will grow. Now, following this, maybe your garden isn't growing because every time a flower grows, you cut it to prove to someone else that you're a gardener. And wow, I think this sums up self-sabotage to a T. And it kind of shows where the root of self-sabotage comes from. It comes from trying to prove yourself to others. It comes from trying to get validation from others. Because if you are confident within your values and within yourself, why not keep going? Where is this fear coming in from? The fear is coming from others. The fear is a reaction to external factors. So ask yourself, when have I blocked my blessings and blocked my potential? When have I gotten to a good point and then somehow ended up back at the starting line? And you also have to ask yourself which characters in your life are making you question anything. And if we continue on this metaphor of the garden, you have to identify the weeds that are blocking your garden from growing. I just feel like we are nature. We are one with nature. So this metaphor of the garden, it's so applicable because just like plants, we have weeds that block us from our growth. We have times when we don't know if we need more nutrients from the soil. We don't know if we need more sun. We don't know if we need more water. We don't know if we need to just maybe cut off the dead end so we can grow better. And so life is just about reflecting so that you can figure out the next steps that you need to take to achieve your highest potential. Recently, what I've been reflecting on is I was opening the door to a new opportunity. And this is an opportunity that I've wanted. I went out to get this opportunity, to gain this next step towards my goals. And as soon as I, grasped it, suddenly all this fear started coming in. And I felt like I need to pause. I need to go back. I need to basically just cut the flower where it's grown. But that's where you have to stop and reflect and realize, why do I feel this? Why do I feel like I need to go back to the starting point? Because it's comfortable. That's why. Because we're not used to being at this higher level where we can see so much. Think of it this way. You start off as this little bud in your garden and, you just see what you can see at your eye level. But then you slowly start to grow and to grow and to grow. And then maybe one day you just have like a growth spurt. And now from this point, you're a beautiful tall flower and you can see so much around you, but it's overwhelming. It's scary because you've never had the ability to see all of this before. You've never been at this position where so much is flowing to you. And so you just hit this kind of shock, this fear, and you want to run and crawl and hide back where you used to be. So like this quote says, you cut your flower and you go back to where you are comfortable with, to what you know as home. But high achievers, we're not gonna achieve what we want if we keep continuing the cycle of growth and cutting. It is self-sabotage. And you probably don't realize that you're self-sabotaging, but going to your comfort zone is self-sabotage. And oh my goodness, I saw this video. I forgot the creator's name, but I'll try to find the video and link it. She was saying how people have gotten so comfortable choosing the easy route, like nobody takes stairs anymore. When you have the option of stairs and an elevator, you take the elevator. And even just the way life is set up, the way society runs, it's guiding you to the elevator instead of the stairs. It's guiding you to the easy way. That's just speeding things up, instant gratification. But that's where you have to come in and actually choose the harder decision. Choose to take the stairs instead of taking the elevator. And this is just a metaphor, is what the creator of this concept came up with, is that you have to choose the difficult decision in everything. You have to apply this idea of the stairs versus the elevators in everything that you do. And back to this self-sabotaging cycle of going back to your comfort zone. Another quote that I found: your past already took a lot from you, so don't let it take your future too. And I think your comfort zone and this cycle of self-sabotage really ties into your past, because as you unlock these new layers to yourself, in my opinion, I feel those old layers, they still are a part of you, or it can take a long time to really truly let go of those old layers, to shed them off, because oftentimes you just add and add and add more layers to who you are. Your self-concept, it builds, but you still have that past version of yourself. And so sometimes when it comes to character development, you build and build and build, and then for some reason, even though you're doing amazing, you think back to that comforting moment, that comforting layer. You think back to that comforting layer of that version of yourself that you used to be, and you question, was it really that bad? Was my character really that bad? But why would you want to go from all the way up here to all the way down here? It's your brain trying to trick you, because your brain is starting to feel the pressure of the change and the pressure of a new identity that you were trying to break into. But your brain is scared of that. Your brain is scared of this new identity. It's scared of this pressure that you are becoming, this pressure that you're putting on yourself. It's a good pressure though, okay? This pressure, it is good. This pressure is good. These layers that you're building, they are good, because you are rewriting yourself. You are recreating yourself. You're becoming a stronger, more well-rounded person. But then your brain wants to go back to that thin layer, that first layer of yourself that it knows as home. But we're relocating. We're building new brain, new neuroplasticity, okay? And then next quote: you suffer as long as you decide to. Because at the end of the day, like, it's your brain. So take control of your brain. Stop letting your brain tell you. Don't let your brain convince you to go back home. Home is not where your future self is. And so you have to decide to deal with that pressure. Deal with that pressure of the layers building, the new you. And I feel a lot of us are in that phase right now, where we are kind of transforming into this new person, but we feel a bit held back by our old self, because that version of us, it's still us. That version of us went through so much to get to where we are now. So it's like you want to connect with that first thin layer of yourself that endured so much, but you can't let your brain convince you to embody that layer for a sense of comfort. Don't embody the old you just so that you can feel like that comfortable self again. Instead, do the work of reflection. Create an evidence portfolio. Baja Abdi, she always talks about evidence portfolios. Write down all of these little and big achievements to show your brain that you are a new person. You are a changed person, that you are not that layer, that little bud in the garden anymore, and that your brain needs to match up with what you're telling yourself. You know, you need that alignment. Your brain is telling you to go back to snip your flowers in your garden and to go back to the comfortable thin layer, but you have to tell your brain no. You have to intersect that message, that communication, okay? Because we're not doing this again. We're not doing this loop of self-sabotage. I'm sorry, we're not. So intersect that message that your brain is sending to go back home, to go back to your comfort zone, and instead tell it that you want to be in this pressure. Tell it how much you love the pressure. Tell it how much you love this hardship and this pain. Tell it how much you love choosing the hard decision, taking the stairs, waking up at 5 a.m. I don't know, whatever it is for you. You just have to love these new layers more than the comfort of your old self, of that little layer, that little bud in the garden. But that person, yes, you're still that little person who went through so much that got you to this point. We're going to acknowledge that, but we're not going to let ourselves embody that. That's the trouble. And that leads to the next quote, which is, a big part of who I am is who I am not anymore. We just, as a society, need to get used to shedding off who we used to be, because the longer we hold on to like yearning for that comfort of who we used to be in our old self, the harder it is going to be to fully embody that ideal self, the new self concept, the new identity that you are working towards. It's going to be so hard because I'm going to reiterate this one more time. Your brain wants you to embody that comfortable version of yourself, but you know you want to embody a higher version of yourself. So you have to intersect that communication. And if we're going to get a little bit into that brain communication, rewiring your brain, like, it starts by intersecting that communication and telling it something else. And then the more you tell your brain something else, then that pattern will begin. So you can create new patterns of communication in your brain. You just have to intersect. And that's why, guys, we have to get the journals out. We're halfway through 2026. We have to get the journals out because you can't intersect this communication without writing things down and reflecting. We have to reflect. Otherwise, our brain is just going to be doing all this communication and then you are not in control. Your brain is controlling you. The wiring of your brain is controlling you. It controls your mental health. It controls physically what you do. It controls everything. And so your brain wiring, it is going to depict your outcome at the end of the day. And so unless you take control of your brain's communication, you're just going to continue these cycles of self-sabotage. You're going to continue the cycle of falling into comfort, and you're not going to become the woman of your dreams. Do you see how crappy that sounds? You know you can do better. Why would you waste your potential? So we have to rewire our brains. So just remember, to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. So you have the belief in you. You know that you can be this higher version of yourself. You know you can be the full garden full of flowers. You don't have to be restarting at this little bud in the soil every 6 months. You have to intersect your brain's communication telling you to go back to your comfort zone, to go back to that little version of yourself. So believe in tomorrow, water your garden, get rid of the negative mindsets and the subconscious beliefs that you have that are acting as weeds that are preventing your growth. Those subconscious mindsets that you have, for example, the fear, once you get to a high spot, when you get to like a level of growth where you're kind of looking around and seeing so much that you've never seen before, you're attracting so much and it feels overwhelming. You feel scared about all the new things in your life that are going on. You have to not be hit by that weed. You have to cut the weeds off. The weeds are the things that are limiting you, the mindsets, the subconscious beliefs. Cut them off so that you can continue to grow. Because if you don't cut those weeds off, then you're going to end up cutting your flowers off and you're going to be, again, at your point zero, at your little buds in your garden, in your little comfort zone. So cut the weeds and grow, and don't be scared when you see new things. Don't be scared when you feel new things. Don't be scared when you're at this high point and you're overlooking and so much is coming at you and you are evolving. That's literally you evolving. And don't shut it down. Don't shut it down. You owe it to yourself to see that growth through, to see it through and to get to that higher potential. So continue growing your garden. I'm sending you so much love. I'm sending you so much love to your garden, okay? So let's rewire our brain. Let's reflect and intersect the communication that is telling us to go back home to our comfort zone. And let's cut off all of the weeds that are blocking our growth. The weeds being the subconscious beliefs and the fears and the limiting mindsets. And let's just believe in tomorrow. Let's believe fully within ourselves that these seeds we planted are going to grow, that there's no other option, that the only outcome is that these seeds are going to grow. Believe in tomorrow. And believing in tomorrow is trusting in God. So trust in God that He is going to provide for you the resources and the nurture for your garden to grow. And with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I love you guys, and pull out the journals, okay? I'm going to do another journal with me video soon, don't worry. Bye.